Welcome back to Our Opinion Podcast. I'm your co-host Terence, here with my co-hosts Michael and Jhoan. And we got a very special guest today. Welcome, Sal. Thank you for coming on to the show, man. How you feeling? How you doing?
Pretty good, man. I've been always wanting to do a podcast. I've done commentating, I've done interviews on YouTube, but we'll see how this goes. It should be fun.
Well, basically, we want to jump into why did you get into fighting and the things like that.
So I've been wrestling all my life, and I mean wrestling's a pretty time-consuming sport, and it takes a lot of discipline to get into it. But my brother Dante Skiro is actually a professional MMA fighter right now. I wrestled all my life, and then once I graduated, I did want to wrestle at the University of Wisconsin in Whitewater, and I don't know. I tried to get into it during the summer, and it just didn't really hit me anymore. I wasn't as dedicated as I used to be for wrestling. So my brother fought, and I was just like, I'll try that out. And I was 18 years old at the time, and I joined the Chosen Few gym, and really haven't looked back since. And yeah, I'm just excited to see what I can do in the sport of MMA because I got plenty of mileage left in me for that. So excited.
How many fights have you been in so far?
I've had 5 fights. So I started off my career 2-0 as an AMI, and then I faced the number 1 ranked AMI MMA fighter in the state. So I compete at 170. He was ranked number 1 at the time, and I lost by unanimous decision. I ended up winning my next fight after that in Iowa, and then this last one was for actually the AMI title at the Monona Terrace, and he put me out in the second round. So that was my first devastating loss, my first concussion I've suffered actually in my whole life, surprisingly. But the one thing I've learned from MMA is that you're going to take bumps. I mean, it's nearly impossible to go undefeated in MMA. So I think about it that way. And, it was devastating. It was at the Monona Terrace. It was in front of my family and friends, my teammates. So, kind of fucking sucked. But it also motivated me at the same time. So whoever I had to fight next, he's getting his ass kicked. So
Facts. But just imagine how much shit they were talking for you, though, before the fight.
I know. And I talked a little, in the face-off and shit. We got notes.
Were you gaining confidence that
yeah, I was having a fun fight. I just, if I had something to take away from my fight, I just didn't fight smart. I usually am a smart fighter. I'll mix it up with my wrestling, which is my bread and butter, but I decided to kind of, swing for the fences and eat some shots to place 2 back, but he ended up catching me, and shit. Happens sometimes, but we're moving on from it.
So you said, because you did wrestling for a while, and like you just said right now that's your bread and butter. How often do you swing for the fences in fights,
So my first fight, actually, I got a knockout, and the weird thing is, usually as a wrestler in their first AMI fight, their go-to is to wrestle right away because they don't like getting hit, so they automatically revert to the wrestling. But for me, I like the feeling of putting someone out and having the crowd cheer for me, but
fuck all this training.
Exactly. But usually in my fights, I'm really smart. I'll mix it up. Usually I like to go for my takedowns and just ground and pound. Really just take someone's soul in there. But yeah, I like to be smart because I'm also thinking about brain health and everything like that, and I wanna go pro in the future. So just making sure as an AMI, I'm kind of playing it smart a little bit, but also getting comfortable with kind of swinging back and forth when I have to. But if I preferred a knockout of some sort, it would have to be on the feet. That'd be the ultimate satisfaction.
So you said you wanted to really knock somebody out. I met you since middle school, and you didn't look like the type to just be like, if you get into, I could just. Oh man, where does that drive come from, or did it spark somewhere?
Dude,
you've always had it.
The crazy thing is, my coach is saying I'm so calm when I'm in the cage, and when I was younger in middle school, I was a chubby kid. You remember that? I was antisocial. I was a little shy, just not really talkative, and then something clicked, and I lost all that weight. 7th grade year, which maybe wasn't that healthy, but we're not going to talk about it. But once I got into high school, I don't know. I like to work hard, and I don't really like things given to me too much. I don't really feel like I wasn't athletic. I'm not the most physically gifted person, but I work my ass off, and I feel like that's more satisfying than just being a natural athlete that gives things handed to him. I like to kind of earn my shit. So
type shit though. Damn, that's real. How do you prepare for a fight, like the night of the fight and shit? Like, how do you get into like fight mode?
Man, so I'll start with the day before. So we weigh in, and I drink a lot of fluids because my weight cut to 70 can be brutal sometimes. The most I cut for a fight was 30 pounds in a month, actually. So started at 200, got down to 169.8, and I always like get 0.2 under the weight class you're supposed to make. But we get +1, so I don't have to worry too much. But I'm always drained. But after that, I go and get myself a good hearty Italian meal, some pasta, pizza, garlic bread, stuff like that. And then I get a good night's sleep. And the next day, I tend to get a workout in the morning just to get my lungs moving a little bit and kind of get all that food I ate down so I can, shit it out later. Because if you have that all in your system while you're fighting, it's not going to go well. But the day of the fight, once I get to the venue, I get my hands wrapped and stuff, I always listen to my music. And I got a kind of a weird playlist. I like Adele and, the singers that are really good at singing. Adele, Taylor Swift, all those people. Rascal Flatts.
Right before a fight?
Right before the fight.
That's
Rascal Flatts the best way, yeah. Right.
Like,
So I like hitting pads and stuff, but I'll usually be in my own zone or a little comfort zone. I'll be kind of sitting on a chair or something and just imagining what's going to happen in the fight. But once we're like maybe 5 minutes before I'm about to go out there, I start kind of talking a little bit out loud, like saying, I'm going to win, just to get it in my head. And then right before I walk out, I usually let out a big scream, just to get it out there. And then boom, I'm ready to go. So no matter what, win or lose.
That's just crazy.
When you're in the cage and you're punching people, right? Do you find, are you just, when you're thinking about hitting people as hard as you possibly can to beat them, are you thinking about, do you try to get yourself mad, or are you just, calm, just wham as hard as I can, wham as hard as you know what I mean?
So I'm usually, I'm a really nice person outside of fighting, which actually can be the worst thing for you as a fighter because you kind of want to have that ruthless mentality. Mm-hmm. But I think it clicks once the bell rings. It's either him or me.
Right.
And everybody's watching. You don't want to get knocked out or beaten down in front of everybody. So it kind of just clicks out there. And I don't want to physically hurt a person in a fight, but like I said, it's either him or me. So at the end of the day, if I got to knock a person out, if I got to beat the shit out of them, I got to do it because in my last fight, he beat me, so it ultimately matters at the end of the day. If you're not ready to go, it can't be your night within those first seconds that bell rings. So I got to get going right away.
Something I always wondered about is, since you said the biggest cut that you've had to do is 30 pounds.
Okay.
How do you mentally prepare yourself for that? Because at that point, if you're maintaining 200 pounds for a certain amount of time, for you to just drastically drop 30 pounds in a month.
So it takes a lot of discipline. So I know my weight cuts aren't easy. So the day before I go through that hard month or month and a half of weight cutting, I tend to, gorge myself a little bit. And then I think about the fight, and I'm super motivated whenever it comes to fighting. It clicks. Tomorrow I got to start dieting. And, whenever I want to, have that cheat meal during my fight camp, I just think this isn't gonna work out because I cut a lot of weight. It's just at the end of the day, it's gonna make it worse for me. So kind of makes it easier, but eating healthy like that, I never get used to it. But at the end of the day, I know what it's preparing me for and what I want to do in the sport. So it might suck a little bit, but it'll be worth it.
What kind of diet are we talking about here?
So if I had to go through my ideal diet, I don't eat anything in the morning. So I wake up, I have my water. So I do drink a gallon a day, and I'll spread that out throughout the day. I won't try and drink it at one time. But 12 o'clock, I'll have my lunch, and that could be chicken, broccoli, and a little bit of rice, kind of in a decent sized portion, maybe 8 ounces of chicken, maybe a scoop of rice and some broccoli, or it could be tilapia, fish, stuff like that. Just something like a lean meat with a little bit of carbs to get my energy done throughout the day, so I have something to put out at practice. But one time during my fight camp for a whole month, I just had trail mix, lunch and dinner. Just straight trail mix. So my teammates give me shit. They call it the trail mix diet because I told them I just had trail mix for lunch and dinner for one of my fight camps, and I ended up winning the fight. But I'll tell you what, my fatigue, I I went 3 rounds, and that whole time my stomach was hurting. And I think it's because of what I was eating that whole month. But once I went back to the protein and carb diet, I felt a lot better in my fight. But it's something I like to talk about with my teammates. I thought it was kind of fun.
Yeah. So I know we were talking before. Basically, everyone's a fighter. Doing these cuts, do you guys do it together when it like just happens to align, or is it more like you'll be 1 month and then your fight happens and then your other brother fights, so he has to cut, so like you guys are all cutting at different times?
So currently my brother's actually in Colorado training for a little bit, so it really was me going through the weight cut by myself. But these last couple fights, I had to fight kind of. There's maybe like 2 other teammates fighting on the card, so really I had to do the cut myself. But for this last fight, we had 11 chosen few fighters on the card, so I kind of got some help and some advice from them. But otherwise, I kind of do the weight cuts by myself because I'm pretty confident I could get it done.
Yeah, I just didn't know if it was like you guys kind of pulled each other up, or it was more like...
Yeah, we do. A lot of us cut a decent amount of weight, so our energy's low. We get in kind of crabby moods at the end of the fight.
You gotta be like, you can do it, bro. Like
exactly
3 more days or 4 more days or something. And you can go all out. And I was like, man, 30 pounds?
30 pounds is a lot.
Trail mix? That's kind of
yeah, but thank goodness. I'm going 85 my next fight. So I've gained a little bit of weight because I'm actually at the moment trying to bulk up a little bit. But I got wrestling that I'm doing right now, so I'm coaching that at LaFollette. I'm the head coach, so I'm not able to do as much cardio because I kind of got to focus on the kids a little bit. So I just been trying to bulk up just a little. But this next fight, I'm just going 85 so I can get my weight back down in order to make 70 a lot easier the following fight after that.
Question about the wrestling. Now, I don't know if this is a dumb question, but can you wrestle the kids? Like, if there's someone that's, like, way better than everybody else, and you're like, is it like if they happen to be like, do you want to wrestle me? Like,
it's not a stupid question. You know, the rules for Wisconsin sports can be tricky sometimes because during the summer, we're not even supposed to, like, be in contact with the kids at all. We're not even supposed to give them instructions for wrestling. We're supposed to, if we had like an open mat of sorts, I just got to sit there and watch. I can't say anything. But during wrestling season, I can wrestle a kid, especially when we have a kid, which we do kind of have that situation at our school. We have a kid that's about 220 who really doesn't have the partners for him to wrestle besides maybe our assistant and me, but I got to coach all the other kids, so it makes it hard for me to do that. But yeah, I am allowed to wrestle the kids when I want to.
Okay, cool. I just was wondering because I'm like, man, like you could probably do some cardio there. If you want.
Yeah.
Just tell the biggest guy, like, come on, 3 rounds, me and you.
Yeah, I know. But my cardio I prefer is punching, hitting people. Okay. You know, the wrestling part of me kind of. Like,
maybe not with the kids because training might come out and you might.
Yeah.
I feel like that's something you would do.
I don't know, man. Maybe if he gets in that mindset, someone makes a bell sound or something, he just swings at a kid.
You think he's traumatized by a bell?
The bell. What if he snaps a bell? You know, he said he gets that killer instinct from the bell. So like,
I hear a bell, man.
Exactly. Something's happening. Class or something. I don't know, for whatever reason. I don't know. That's funny.
Man. So like, I know earlier you kind of said that like you don't like want to physically hurt somebody, so like how much does that really like factor in like when you're in a fight and shit like that?
Dude, not at all, because I know like he wants to probably hurt me, or he's thinking the same thing, but he also doesn't want to lose at the same time. So 100% I don't want to lose, so even if I don't want to physically hurt someone, I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get that guy out of there.
Facts.
Question, so is there like, do you think that do you have a plan or like let's say all a person has to do is plan A, B, C, etc., to get to the UFC. Like, do you think that there is already a road that is like paved, like to do that, or do you think that it's just kind of like you kind of have to get somebody's attention in order to get a little famous to get up to these bigger fights? Like, because you know in boxing it's like straight amateur, and then pro, and then is that the same thing for UFC where it's just as long as you keep winning those fights?
You know, there's so many fighters in the United States. It's hard to get looked at, but my brother is currently fighting in Bellator. I don't know if you're familiar with Bellator, but it's like second behind UFC. Yeah. So it comes with good management because the managers are really the ones that are getting looks from other regional promotions that are trying to sign fighters. At the end of the day, like, you got to do your job. You got to go out there and perform. So I think a lot of organizations look for finishers. So maybe not someone that's constantly winning by decision, which I've gone to decision 3 times, but it's just I'm just an AMI right now, so I'm learning. But once I go pro, the initiative is to finish my fights, just so I kind of get those looks, but also show I can go 3 rounds, which I have before. But AMI is actually 3 3-minute rounds. Pro is 3 5-minute rounds. So when I go pro, I gotta put in even more cardio to make sure I can go an extra 2 minutes. But yeah, for getting looks, just making sure you keep working hard, getting those finishes, and hopefully you have good management and they'll lead the way, and hopefully you'll get looks.
To go pro, is it just like you have to do a certain amount of amateur fights? You have to win a certain amount of amateur fights?
So in Wisconsin, I think you have to have 5 fights. So I already have 5 fights, but I'm also only 22 years old. I did just lose by stoppage. So I think at the end of the day, what I got to do is get back to the drawing board, make sure I work my ass off, win a couple more fights, maybe an AMI belt. Just because I want to win an AMI belt. Right. And then my goal is once I turn 25, I'll turn pro. Because 25 is still really young, so I got nothing to worry about. If I turn pro at 22, I personally don't think I'm ready. So just making sure I'll know when I'm ready, and the coaches will know when I'm ready. And when I'm ready, that's
so if
you
really wanted to, you could just apply to be a pro now.
I could be a pro now, but I think it ultimately is decided by my coaches and the management. And right now, they'd probably say no. So, which I could agree with.
They said that they're looking for strikers. In your training, are you implementing that into your training, or is it like what is your training like? Is it like, since you already know how to grapple and all that, less of that and more of actual hits, strikes, kicks?
So our gym's kind of a wrestling gym, so we have a ton of wrestlers at Chosen Few. So we're not really looking to focus on that. But, I mean, we are focused on all aspects of fighting. My grappling's really good. I've gotten third and second in a couple jiu-jitsu tournaments. So I know that's always going to be there. And I have my wrestling base, so I'm always comfortable on the ground. But my striking is where I really want to improve. And I've been working a lot on my boxing and just moving my fucking head in my fights, which that's what kind of got me caught. My last fight is that I didn't move my head enough. But, I don't throw many kicks. I try to throw kicks in my fights. I'm not that flexible. I'm just gonna say that right now. Like, I can kick the head, but it's not gonna look pretty. So I just try to work on my striking as much as I can. But I love boxing and implementing that in an MMA fight. So if somebody were to label me instead of a wrestler, I would hope they label me as a boxer, because that's what I like doing. So
okay, yeah, that's what I was always curious about, because like you can get hit by pretty much every fucking part of the body, and like. I feel like a foot would hurt more, but have you like experienced like that shit? Like, what do you think like hurts the worst?
Man, I would feel like a knee would hurt the most. I've got a knee in the leg and the ribs before, and that it never feels good. As an AMI, luckily you don't get hit on the face by a knee or elbowed. But actually, elbows, take that back. Elbows would hurt the most. I've gotten jabbed in the nose a few times. That never feels good, but I feel like once you go pro, the knees and the elbows are going to be the thing that hurts most. But take this as a shock or not, in the fights, I really don't feel the punches that much. Like, my nose was bleeding in this last fight. I didn't really feel anything besides.
So that adrenaline is there.
Yeah, exactly. Wow. Exactly. I don't really feel anything till right after the fight.
Yeah. So what is it like? Like, what does it just feel like? Just touching, just tapping?
Yeah, it just feels like it's tapping me. It feels like it's tapping me, but I could feel like when something's bleeding, or when I don't know, I'm getting tired and stuff like that.
So you haven't really had any like actual straight immediate pain in a fight?
No, not really. I mean, luckily I haven't, so that's a good feeling.
What's them like when like in between rounds and shit, when you go back to the corner? What's that shit like? Just like.
It's kind of like a wake-up call. Like, you're either doing really good or you're doing really bad. Like, the coaches will give you shit. Like, if you're not doing something right, they'll make sure you know. But so far in my career, I've done pretty well in my fights to where my coaches aren't really giving me any shit in between rounds. But it's also a nice breather just to kind of relax, because you only really get a minute in between rounds. So that kind of sucks, and it goes by quick. Yeah. But it also can really get your confidence going again and just get you mentally set to go that next round. But I think it's a good thing to have breaks in between.
Definitely. Yeah, I feel like sometimes like I be watching fights and people be in the corners and they just be looking so damn near tired of the fight, or like they're ready to give up or some shit, because they've just been getting their ass whooped the entire time. That should be like, damn. I can only imagine what you sitting there thinking right now, like, this dude is over there whooping my ass. But shit. Another thing we want to know is like, basically, I guess, like, we know you want to make it pro and shit like that, but, like, what's the ultimate goal or, like, the end goal here?
The end goal is to make it to the UFC someday, and I know that's difficult, but I'll even take Bellator, to be honest. But if not that, the ultimate goal is just to have fun with it a little bit. But my brother kind of gave me shit. He's like, "Why do you want to go pro?" I was like, or actually, he said, "Why do you want to fight?" And I just said to have fun with it, and he kind of smirked and went like, to have fun with it. If you want to fight, the goal is to get to like the UFC and stuff like that, because brain health and everything. I don't think you should be having fun with MMA, but at the end of the day, I want to have fun and I want to make Bellator or UFC or something like that. But yeah, I just like to have fun out there. I like to hit people in the face and just show how hard I'm working too at the same time. Make my family proud.
Yeah. So after, let's say you make it to that UFC, what's the plan afterwards? Or you're not even?
I'm not even thinking of that.
That's
honestly,
a pretty big milestone, Jhoan. After you win the lottery, what are you gonna do with that money?
Because like I feel like I think you're capable of making it to the UFC, and then it's like just getting into it, winning an actual belt, maintaining a belt.
I feel like getting in is just as challenging. Like,
dude. And once you get in, of course you're gonna want to get the best status and shit.
I'll be honest, I haven't even thought about the UFC since I fought. Obviously, someday I want to be there, but honestly, looking back at like how far I've come from being that chubby 7th grader, to being here, I honestly didn't think I'd be fighting. If I had to go back to 7th grade, I thought I'd be like what do you call it, a food challenger on YouTube, eating hot dogs and shit like that.
That was the goal back in the day.
I was just gonna say,
loved my
what
food,
did you see
man.
yourself doing if it wasn't for fighting? Like if you were to talk to your 7th grade self, like, what do you think I am? And he looks at you, he's like, you know what? Looks like the engineering program was really good.
Back then, I don't know. That was questionable what I was gonna do in the future. I didn't see myself fighting until literally summer of my senior year, because it just kind of hit me like I'll just do that. But back in my 4th grade class, we had like a booklet that said what we want to be in 10 years, and I said I wanted to be in the WC and be an MMA fighter. So I guess I've always wanted to be that. But if I didn't want to be a professional fighter, I would want to do something like delivery driving or something like that. I just like driving around the around the state and shit like that. So
that would be like your dream job?
Dream job would be like running a gym or something like that. In the future, we want to.
We might have
later on.
Right.
We had some discussions about that ourselves.
Yeah, that'd be just super cool, and I'd just be internally grateful if I was able to achieve that. So.
So you say you're working with the kids at La Follette, coaching wrestling. How's that going?
So coaching at La Follette, it's gonna be my 3rd year being the head coach. It has its challenges with COVID and everything. I mean, the rules for Wisconsin are crazy. We're supposed to wear a mask during wrestling matches, which if you guys tried wrestling with the mask on, they just snap off. Yeah, so it's a little tricky. It's been almost 2 years since we've wrestled, because last year we didn't get a season because of COVID. So I feel like we're going to be a little rusty, but I think our kids are willing to work hard to kind of make up for lost times last year. Otherwise, working at La Follette, I'm security, and that has its challenges. The kids, man, sometimes they don't want to go to class. My fighting side wants to come in the factor.
Let's talk a little bit about that. Have you ever gotten to the point, not where you have done it, but where you're just like, just touch me, just lay your hands on me?
Dude, probably over 20 times this year.
Really?
There's been a kid that gives me an attitude, and I'm just like, he just doesn't know, man. Like I might have lost a couple fights, but this kid's going down if he swings at me. I've told a couple of kids, you know what, sign a contract at Chosen Few. We go a couple goes, and they'll kind of play it off like maybe, or they'll just say no, and I'm like, yeah, because what would happen.
To go with that, I know how professional like boxers have to sign, or they can't like get into a fight like a street fight.
Yeah,
because you're a boxer
legally,
right?
Yeah.
Like you got weapons on your hands. Is it the same with you? Like, can you...
Dude, because I know Conor McGregor has that rule.
Yeah, like if he gets in a street fight, he's going to jail.
I don't know if I do.
Is it because you're an amateur fighter still, or is it different if your brother were to get in a street fight?
I want to say maybe Dante has that rule.
I thought it was trained fighters in general.
I don't know.
Maybe.
I mean, I
already
didn't look it up. So
I don't know. I know Dante, since he's a professional, would probably.
Okay.
Probably looks bad anyways. So like,
It looks bad.
like
yeah,
professional fighter Dante Esquiro just beat up a
Yeah,
dude at a bar.
Hey, it'd be pretty cool to have that rule. Come on.
All I'm saying is, it's not his fault if somebody at the bar is trying to get
Yeah.
their ass beat. If
Yeah.
you're trying to get your ass beat, bro.
I think self-defense is still self-defense.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I gotta do what I gotta do. It's not my fault that I'm just professionally good at this shit.
But I don't think you can be like, you said what? I'm a bitch. Bam.
No.
I feel like if you hit me, yeah, sorry, you're about to fuck. Yeah, you fucked up. You picked the wrong one.
Nah, man. Most of the kids are pretty. Oh man, no.
Kids aren't that bad though.
Most of the kids are pretty chill, but you know, there's a good like 20, 25 kids I really wanted to just say something, but I'm respectful, you know.
Of course, yeah.
Damn. How's it like working with like teachers that you had?
Oh, that's actually kind of cool. You know, a lot of people would think that's
Yeah.
kind of weird, but you know, a lot of them are just like in awe, like, holy crap, you work here now, and you know,
type shit.
it's cool because you kind of went from that teacher-student relationship to kind of like a coworker, friend
yeah,
relationship.
it's a whole different ballgame.
And we joke around. I mean, I love the staff at LaFollette. It's hands down.
Do you call them by their first name, or do you still because?
Dude, I'm weird. Sometimes
that's different.
I'll call them by their first name, last name, friend. Different labels. Yeah. I don't know, man.
Okay.
It all depends. It all depends.
Is there still any teachers that are like, you gotta call me Mrs. Miss? Or
No,
Mrs.
no, actually no. I'll call them by their first name,
bullshit.
last name. It don't matter.
I mean, I don't think they can. So
I was gonna say, no, we're equals. I work here.
They call me by my first name and even my full name, Salvatore, which a lot of people don't know that's my full name, which is crazy. And that some reason they find it difficult to pronounce. Like,
Salvatore.
is it that hard? Because
Is it Salvatore or like Salvatore?
Salvatore.
Okay.
The kids will go like, I'll go like, hey, here's my name, Salvatore, and then they'll kind of pause, and I'm like, or you could say Sal, like, I'll go with that one. I'm like, it's not that hard. Yeah. Just say
It's really just Vatul.
Yeah, just say my full name.
Sound
But,
just as easier.
yeah, exactly.
Damn. How do you like connect with the kids and shit, like coaching and stuff?
So, I think being around their age or close to their age is a good thing because if I was like this 40, 50, 60-year-old dude coming up to them going like, hey, man, you should wrestle. You know, wrestling sometimes kids question it just because of what we wear in our matches and shit. They will probably be uncomfortable. But since I'm a kid around their age and they know I fight and I'm respectful and cool, it kind of helps a little bit. But but for the most part, all the kids respect me besides those few that are just fucking hard and they want to act like they're tough and shit. But
did you know the head coach at La Follette when you did you know him personally before you started wrestling because of like your older brothers?
So Carlito started first. You remember? Yeah. So he started way back in third grade, and then the year after we started, Gary Skiles is who you're talking about. He's been there for 25 years, so I knew Gary for a long time.
Okay, because you know the movie Rocky?
Rocky.
I always picture him talking to you like, if you were Rocky,
dude,
like, you gotta get at him, man.
Yes.
Just in the corner.
Rocky's my all-time favorite series. I love those movies so much. But Gary reminds me of, who is it Mickey? Yeah. Mickey's the old guy. That's who he reminds me of.
That's why I was like, man, I could just picture him, like, talking to you. Like,
oh, yeah.
I was like, do you hype your kids up like that? Or do you take more of a, like, since you're, like you said, you're more level-headed and calm.
Yeah, I'm pretty calm, but when I need to get serious, I will. But I wouldn't say I'm like Mickey. Okay. But, you know, I'll get a little... You gotta get in there. I'll get a little furious or, like, pissed or try and hype him up in some way.
Type shit, though. But we've talked a little bit about your family. Just, like, I guess, like, where is everybody else at with the fighting style and stuff like that? Where are they...
Because you guys all did wrestling.
Process, right?
So, Carlito fought for a little bit. He's 3-1. He hasn't fought in almost 2 years. I'm not sure if he will fight again, but you never want to force someone to fucking try and fight in the cage again. If he doesn't want to fight, so be it. Yeah, he has a decent record, 3-1. I mean, he could live with that. Franny wrestles at Parkside. He's the best wrestler we had in La Follette history, and he's still trying to All-American or win nationals there, so I give him credit, man. He's been in college for I think his 4th or 5th year now.
Yeah, he came into Whitewater for a little stint.
Yeah,
we had
dude.
a class together. And
dude, back in like
disappeared.
2017, man, I was trying. That's when I was trying to wrestle, but now it's 2021. He's still in college. Technically, I think he's a freshman now. Still.
Oh wow!
Because he had an MCL surgery. He had that free
damn.
COVID year, redshirt year. But he's doing that. He's looking good. I hope he All-Americans or win nationals. He deserves that. Otherwise, Dante, yeah, he loves his fighting. Like, that's number one thing he focuses on in life. And I hope he gets to the UFC someday.
Yeah, that'd be good time.
That would be sweet. Otherwise, my mom isn't too big into it, especially after what happened in my last fight. I get it, but
oh yeah.
And she just said, "Why not be done with it?" I'm just like, I want to keep going. Like, I can't end on a loss like that, man. If anybody knows me, like I try to work my ass off of setbacks and shit like that just to make sure that never happens again. But
do you think it demotivated you or motivated you even
oh
more?
Man, it at first, like, obviously it sucked really bad just because how many people came to support me and saw me. It wasn't like a super bad knock. I went out for a second then.
But just losing is losing.
Losing's losing, man. No matter what, losing sucks. But I'm motivated as shit. You know, a little frustrated just because I'm not in the gym with the guys right now because I'm coaching and stuff like that. But once the season's done, I'm just as motivated. That's why I've been lifting, trying to put on some muscle, and yeah, just work my ass off. So whoever I have next, it's gonna be a bad day for them.
Yeah.
Okay.
When are you hoping to have your next fight?
I'm hoping by April or May next year. So wrestling season ends at the end of February. I'll be literally the day after I'm able to get back. I'm gonna be right back in that gym and hopefully in tip-top shape to go by early summer or right before it. So.
Yeah, that's what's up. What's the process like after the fight? Like, how long before the next fight, or like, does it?
So crazy thing is, I had my first fight in 2019 in September, and then a whole year passed before I had my next fight because COVID didn't hit. Actually, that wasn't COVID yet, but we couldn't find a fight. I had wrestling season, I was coaching and stuff, and then just had a hard time finding a fight. And then I was actually about to pig out one day at like some festival up north in Wisconsin, and my manager messaged me and he said, "Hey, we have a fight booked for you next month." I'm like, shit, okay, let's go. Yeah. And my weight was pretty good, so I was able to do that. Otherwise, I had 3 fights this year, literally like in a 4-month span. So I fought in May 7th. I lost that one to the number 1 ranked guy, and then in July I fought in Iowa, and then in September I fought in the Monona Terrace. So I'm willing to fight 3-4 times a year, but at the same time I think it's good to take a break, maybe fight like once or twice a year. But it really all depends on the fighter, if they want to fight multiple times or they want to stick to one fight and try to get better throughout the year and maybe fight again at the end of the year. All depends.
Type deal.
How long do you think that you want to be in the sport? Like, how old do you think you want to be until you like retire, I guess?
Well, I just saw Glover Teixeira in the UFC win a belt at 42 years old. I'm not trying to fight till 42 years old. If ideal for me would probably be like 35 if it all went perfect, but you only live once, so if I want to fight till I'm 42, I'll fight till I'm 42. I don't give a shit, but also I want to be safe at the same time. True. All depends, man. I'm not sure.
Okay. I got a couple just quick questions since we're talking about your family a little bit. You guys all did wrestling, right? Who is the best?
Oh, the best
technical wrestler.
The best technical wrestler.
Because I know, like Franny, is he just technically better than, like, let's say you? Because you guys are twins, so you guys are the same age, just different weight classes. Mm-hmm. So is he just technically better, or is it just the weight class that makes it?
He was just so technical. But he also fucked with opponents, man. He would toy with them a lot. I would have to show you some videos, man. He made kids just look like shit, and I felt so bad. I mean, I tried to do the same thing. Franny was the most technically sound wrestler we had in the family. I was really not technical. I was just kind of like I don't know. I used my strength to get my takedowns and shit. And then I'll try and toy with them on top. Yeah. But Franny was just a different type of animal. So, I really wasn't good till senior year. Okay. I finally made it to state, but Franny was
even better than your oldest brother?
Dante actually started basically in high school, so he didn't have much time to
and you guys have been doing it for a while.
Yeah, Franny we wrestled since 3rd grade, so Franny was always pretty solid.
That you were put into a sport.
Yeah, it's a good sport, man. You know what's crazy? All these kids, like, in high school, they say they don't want to wrestle, and then like a couple years pass, and they're like, damn, I wish I would have fucking wrestled. I'm like, I mean, you could go to college and try wrestling or shit. I mean,
that's a different animal.
yeah. But I'm like, well, shit, you should have wrestled in high school, man.
Yeah, I definitely have a few friends that's like, yeah, bro, I definitely should have wrestled. I was like, yeah, I had the opportunity, bro.
What can you do now?
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
Another quick one. More about wrestling. How long were you and Franny even?
So
Was it like he picked up wrestling like
Dude.
really quick, and then it was like 4th grade, and it's like, yeah,
I think Franny picked it up real quick. I didn't pick it up till I made it to state as a really when dads say like my kid's so good and he's a youth wrestler, you never know. The kid could end up being a shit wrestler in high school. So I made it to state in 7th grade. I wasn't good. I just got luckier, or maybe I worked hard and it came to fruition. But no, I was never good until senior year. So, junior year, I started to hit my stride. I was 1 away from going to state. I lost in the semis, a sectional. And then senior year, I don't know. I just kept working hard, and it finally just caught up to me, and I got there. So,
if you got another one, go ahead.
Yeah, because I had a couple just lined up before they
couple said 2. So this is actually a few, but whatever.
All right, I have a few.
You know how Jhoan is when it comes to being technical.
Anyway, are you, Carlitos, and Dante's fighting styles alike, completely different? Like to the point where it's like you are obviously the grappler, Dante's the striker, and then I don't know if Carlitos like a mixture of both and just.
Carlito's more of a wrestler, I would say. I try to mix it up. I'm a smart fighter though. If I got to keep it on the feet, I'll just make sure I'm not getting put in a brawl. If I'm on the ground, I'll make sure I'm controlling. Dante's really good on the feet. I just don't think he's really had a chance to show it because a lot of people want to take him down.
He's pretty tall too, right?
Really tall kid. Yeah.
So I was gonna say, like at that point, your reach is a lot longer than mine.
6'1", 6'2", so he has a pretty good reach. Dante, I mean, you check out Showtime on Bellator, you see he has a fight next, man. He's gonna look good. For me, yeah, I like wrestling too. So it's obviously I want to get the knockout again, but I'm willing to mix it up and shit. But yeah, I'd consider myself more of a wrestler in my fights.
Okay. And then my last one, since we were going through a couple.
Go ahead,
that was it.
No.
He's always got it.
At family events or any situation where all of you guys are kind of under the same roof, is it like you guys are just completely calm, egos are outside of the door?
Dude, you'll be surprised at how calm we could be, to be honest.
Because I'm like, if you guys are all wrestlers, like I feel like me personally, my brother, like if he bumps me, I'm like, you gotta say sorry. Like you said sorry.
That's just you. Yeah. I think that's
you gotta say sorry right now.
He's one of them. Bro, he'd be at the gym when he's got pumped. He'd be like. I'm like, bro, what are you doing? Like, and he's not a fighter, so I can.
It's because Michael also would just come randomly and just like fuck with me, and I'm like,
you gotta shit.
And I'm like, I'm sitting here and you came out of nowhere, so now what?
Yep.
Is it like that with you guys, or is it just
dude? So Carlito's like the laid back one. He won't really do that. Franny will talk shit a little bit, but he's a pipsqueak. He actually he's not a pipsqueak anymore. This kid has gotten buff as shit.
Oh shit.
Like a few months ago, I was like, dude, are you taking roids? Because his biceps were 2 times the size of mine. I'm like, this is fucked up. And this kid's only 150, 160. I was almost 200 at the time. Yeah, but Dante's the one that'll get like physical and shit and play with you and try and fart in your face and shit.
Okay.
Play some pranks.
Okay, that's what I pictured. But if you would have told me like, no, man, like as soon as we step in through that door, we're just.
Nah,
how you doing, man?
I'll tell you what. At the Chosen Few gym, like me and Dante, whenever we have like a sparring go, or me and Carlito, the whole gym will stop and just watch it.
Just watch.
Because you never know. Because Carlito, actually, I got cut on my eye 2 weeks before my first fight because Carlito headbutted me in the face. Not on purpose, just because I was getting a little heated with my punches and trying to throw too hard, and he ended up just kind of. I don't know, spazzing out or something and collided heads. But me and Dante will always have those rough ass goes, and he'll try to put me on my ass, not to the head, but to the body.
Yeah.
And it's always fun because everybody likes to just sit and watch, and I'll try and have my moments, but at the end of the day, he's a pro. He's gonna fuck me up. But I'm also not gonna be a bitch and stand down. So
has all this brought you and your oldest brother a lot closer? Because I don't know the age gap between it. Because me and my brother, 12 years apart.
Yeah, me and Dante are pretty close, but he's in Colorado, which sucks. It got to me a little bit. It still does, but at the end of the day, he's trying to do what he wants to do to get to the highest level of the sport, which is the UFC, which he's in Bellator, so he's close. But yeah, we talk and just make sure we're doing the shit we got to do. But otherwise, me and Franny, and we're all close. Okay. Look out for each other, making sure everything's fine. But we all have our goals at the end of the day we want to achieve. So we try to hope nothing gets in our way. So.
And 4 brothers, right?
Yeah. So me and then 3 others. Yeah,
that's the goal.
Yes,
that's the dream right there. That's
yeah,
boys.
4 boys.
Did your brother have a set date for when his fight is?
He's trying to fight in December or January. So he was currently, I think he was on vacation in Colorado somewhere in the mountains, but he's always training. He's always in shape. Luckily for him, he's always around 170 or 180s. I tend to eat a little bit and get heavy in weight. So I weighed the most I ever have in my life, which was 208 a few days ago. Which is because I haven't been doing cardio. Once I start getting into the gym again, I'll start naturally weighing around 198, something like that. Right. And I'm also the bigger brother. Like if you were to see a side by side photo of me and Dante, I'm the bigger set guy. But it don't matter. It makes me feel good that I'm the bigger guy anyway. So whatever.
He's filming you.
Yeah.
This guy.
That's how I feel standing next to Mike with you. Yeah, he's a little taller. Really we don't know where the muscle.
I really think he looked like a bull when he was in the mirror.
I've been seeing his little post on Snapchat and shit.
He's always trying to flex in the front.
Yeah,
he's always trying to flex. Bro, all the triceps and shit.
I got his arms right now.
IBF pro, if you see him, he's just like.
He said he was gonna take the pictures once he was ready.
You know, this is just a long bulk, so you know.
Right. A long bulk.
Anyways, all that negativity over there.
That's great.
Go ahead and ask your question.
You know what though?
You forgot. I've been thinking
about it. Too long. We talked about it really because I was gonna ask like. I know growing up, like I had 2 brothers and shit, like we fight like all the fucking time. Mm-hmm. So it's just like growing up, I was gonna ask like growing up, was that how you guys like settled shit? Was you guys
dude,
to the mat and shit?
I was that chubby kid. Me and Carlito were chubby in middle school, so Dante and not really Franny. Franny was small as shit. He was probably the size of this thing in 4th grade. But fucking Dante, man, he'd goof around with us all the fucking time, man. But it was so fun. Like. Every day was different. You never knew what was gonna happen. Like a few months ago, Carlito bought this like taser online, and he brought it to my house, and he started like zapping it a little bit. I'm like, dude, I already know what you're gonna fucking try doing. And he does it to my thigh once, and it's like, oh my. I don't know if you've ever been tased before. No, I don't know if it's as effective as like the police tasers, but it didn't feel too good. But the worst part is when you can't see it coming. And he came to my back area and he zapped me. I'm like, what the fuck?
What does that feel like though?
It's like, oh my.
For me, it felt like the little gum that you pull.
Yeah, yeah.
Instead of like just your arm, it felt like your whole body was like just kind of shaking a little bit like that.
Didn't feel like you got. I don't know what it feels like to get stabbed, but it was like a.
Imagine Jhoan too.
Maybe because they caught you off guard. Like
yeah,
really,
like that
didn't jiggle.
My worst fear is getting stabbed. I would not. I would rather get shot than stabbed because I don't want to feel a sharp ass blade going to my goat.
Really?
Yeah, definitely rather get shot than stabbed.
Yes.
You would rather get shot than stabbed.
You rather get stabbed?
Yeah, I'd rather get shot than stabbed.
Yeah.
Yes, because I don't want to see that sharp ass blade go.
Yeah. No,
No.
I'm good on that.
Especially because it's never gonna be just one stab.
Yeah, it's gonna be multiple, right?
Like
you gonna feel each one of them hoes, bro.
Yes, like, but you know, a shot can either like put you out instant, or sometimes like you're in such shock.
The adrenaline just
But the knife you'll feel go in and you'll feel go out.
Bro, imagine like somebody.
Oh man.
And it's just like you have to like physically watch somebody do that to you like up close and personal, bro. Like damn, that's worse.
Let's hope it never happens, right?
Of course.
Oh, great.
If you're gonna stab me, you better kill me.
Exactly.
That's the way it's going to go.
That must suck fighting back, like after you've been stabbed.
Dude, your whole body just shuts down.
Especially depending on where they get you.
Yeah.
Have your eyes looking, all fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
Well, We appreciate you. We appreciate having you coming
Yeah,
on the
we can't
show.
talk this time. Yeah,
You know
it's
how
not
it
that easy
goes.
to just blow it off, is it? Yeah, we're making fun of me last time. Go ahead, close it off.
I fucking hate you, Michael. But shit, yeah, appreciate having you on the show, man. If you have anything that you want to say to the camera, we usually let the guys say like last few words and
Dude,
shit.
I like it's so good to see you guys again. Like I haven't seen you in probably
minute.
God, I don't 3 years maybe.
Yeah, I was gonna say
And-
it's high school.
Yeah, but no, it's good to see everybody again. Just hopefully someday I can make it to the top. Just I'm gonna keep working hard and just keep doing what I'm doing. But for anybody that has doubt out there or has aspirations, just never give up and make sure you're working your butt off to get there. But yeah, this was fun. I loved it.
Yeah, man.
Loved it.
Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, no
appreciate
problem.
you.
For having me on.
Thank
Well,
you.
On that note, we'll end it there. So catch you guys on the next one.
Michael's a dickhead.